Oh, hi. Today I just want to do a video segment about uh, immigrant life in Canada. Of course, be it newcomers or people who have lived here for a long period. Uh, I've lived here in Canada for 30 years. My coming to West uh, goes back to 1980s. Uh, Early 80s, I just went to Europe and lived in the German speaking part of the world, and I tried to fit in there as a young guy, trying to, but then it's different over there. It just doesn't. Uh, uh, it didn't go my way, and it's much easier for children who are born in a foreign country to sort of acclimatize into the system and immerse into the system. That said, you pass your teen years, and it's hard. Even the language. Children pick up any foreign language before puberty. I mean, there is a reason for it, and as I understand, before puberty, the vocal cords are not matured, and that's why you will see children, like, say, for instance, if you take your child who is 4 years old to China, in a matter of 2 or 3 years, he or she, the child, would speak Chinese just like someone a native Chinese. But even if you live all your life as a grown-up adult, you may master the language, you may acquire the fluency, but you may not sound like a native Chinese. Now that's true of any language, any be it English or any other language. The fact that I grew up with English from childhood, and when I had to learn German language in Europe, somehow it was kind of it was new. English is a Germanic language, and if for those of us who know have some inkling as to the etymology or the roots of the language. There are only three main Western languages: the Slavic languages that are spoken in Europe, and then mostly in Soviet countries, the 16 Soviet countries. Those are Slavic languages with the Russian origin or Russian root. And then we have Germanic languages, which is English is a Germanic language. So are the Scandinavian languages, and then you have Romantic languages. It doesn't mean nothing. It has nothing to do with romance, so to speak, but it alludes, or it refers to the Romantic, comes from the Roman Empire. So anyways, that said, those are the three main Western languages. I spoke two native languages as well, and English quite fluently when I immigrated to Europe, because English was the language I grew up at home and in the immediate environment. That said, I probably had an age with English, so when I had to switch to learning German language, and I didn't like it, and it was I couldn't master the language. I couldn't attain the fluency in German language. Of course, I could get by. I could speak moderately okay, so to speak, get by, but that's the extent of it, and I didn't like. So I came to Canada. To make a long story short, in 19 about 30 years ago, yeah, exactly 30 years. First step as a new immigrant, I just wanted to upgrade my education. I just wanted to acquire some professional background, education, qualification. So I attended community college uh, I was not even I was not fully informed as to how the system works. So the easiest thing is to enroll into a community college, and you get a community college diploma. And most people, even today, new immigrants do not know, when you have a 2-year community college diploma, 3-year, actually 3-year community college diploma, you will be exempted in the university for 2 years. So you have only 2 more years to do. uh, so in my case, I did 18 courses. I that are accredited towards the community college diploma. I went to Seneca College, and I have 8 courses, and then I was doing in order to go to school and to look after myself, I had to work. So I worked in a restaurant, in the kitchen as a dishwasher, which is the low-end job, and then I worked as a security guard in the night. 1 year and 9 months, and then I did complete 8 courses at Seneca College. While I was doing this, and of course I doing only the night shift, and also not resting during the daytime, working in a restaurant and evening school, all that put together, I guess it impacted on it kind of interfered, impacted my health. So I had to quit the night job. No more security at that time, and decided to do the CGA, Certified General Accountants. I had financial accounting exemption because of the courses I had from the community college. And then I was doing economics, and I had one more course to get my level 1 CGA. At which time, through an employment agency, through thanks to my ex-wife as well, through her, she started life 2 years after me in Canada. But of course, sometimes it's I'm not being a feminine, uh, male chauvinistic individual, but it's somewhat relatively easy for a young woman and throw some good looks to her, and it's relatively easier for a woman to fit into the workforce compared to a young man or a male. So women sometimes have an edge over men in certain areas. Men have an edge over women in other areas. So not biased, but just stating the facts the way it should be. That said, like I said, thanks to my ex-wife, through one of it was serendipity, or by chance, I guess. She ran into somebody, and in an employment agency, they not only got her a job, and she began to work as a contracted employee in the government, and she also introduced me to this recruiter, and who got me a break working in the traffic court for 2 years. At that time, Bob Bray, the Ontario Premier, brought about changes, and had to cut down for the workforce, downsize. So last come first go as usual. So I was let go, but I guess I must have made an impression. So in the close to 2 years I worked in the traffic court, I was home unemployed for 3 months, and someone in the College Park court, it's the small claims court, wanted a courtroom clerk, and they asked for this employment agency, and they referred my name right away. And guess what? I went for the interview. It was height of winter. The senior manager, the most probably one of the most wonderful people I ever met. Really a benign soul. I remember all the good and bad people. I try to not think of the bad people. I always remember the good people. So she is one of them in my hard drive. And that said, she gave me the job without even asking. First thing, she looked at me and said, "When do you want to start?" Can you start today? We need someone. Or tomorrow. I was in for a pleasant shock. I said, okay, I'll go home. I'll get prepared. I'll come back for training tomorrow. She trained me. She herself trained me, the senior manager in the courtroom, with the working as the judge's clerk in the courtroom. I did that for 3 years, and then the next thing, a step up, I went to now Superior Court. I worked there uh, for until year 2000, and then things happened. Without going into details, I was when I was about to be my contract was renewed every year, but when they were about to make me a permanent employee in the government, I was let go. I fell out with one of the managers, and there's workplace politics is nasty. When they like you, if you have a good rapport, you can get away with murder, and if they don't like you, you could be the stellar employee. They will make sure that they victimize you, to put it diplomatically. Okay, left services, but I was inexperienced in a sense. I didn't know how the world operates at that time, and still I'm learning, I guess. That said, I thought, okay, I'm going to make a lateral movement. I will. In fact, they offered me a lesser position to work in another court in a different location in Newmarket. I was too arrogant. I didn't take it. I thought I would make a lateral movement and find my way in the private sector and climb the ladder. In hindsight, it was a huge mistake. In private sector, that's where the element of racism prevails for the colored immigrants. Certain jobs are good for you could outshine others, but do not choose the administrative work, which is you can go up to the middle management. You will never climb the ladder to become part of the upper management. That's from an immigrant perspective. So that said, I worked in American Express 9 months. I worked in Rogers Cable call center for 2 years. Then I worked at IBM for 2 years as a call center supervisor, coach. And then I did all that and went back to doing security. And I worked in the security I couldn't move up. I became a security supervisor. First it was in-house concierge in condominiums. Then I went on to doing condominium, becoming a condominium manager. I did, it's not just empty blanket statements, and you have my transcripts to show that's the government. I worked in the small claims court. I was chosen as the outstanding employee in the ministry in the years one of the outstanding employees. I was awarded the outstanding employee for the year 1996 and 97. Those are some of the accomplishments from the ministry. It's left side, right? How can you read this? I don't know. So, civil courtroom registrar. 20 years ago, man with hair. Now, I shave my head. I have no hair. So, and if you want to see the name, can you see Dexter Nathan in the Ministry of Attorney General, civil courtroom registrar. With all that, I'm struggling my way. And that's my story. So for new immigrants, study a profession. Don't go into admin area. Either a plumber, you can be a brain surgeon, you can be a carpenter, you could be anything, a computer IT specialist. That's where you can do well in life. If you have generic liberal arts degrees and you want to go into admin, good luck. Who knows, your luck might work. Don't listen to me. Thank you.